Well, hello, class, and welcome to Church in the Community from Moody Bible Distance Learning. This is your fearless leader, Professor Jefferson, and I want to welcome you to week 2. Week 1 is already gone. Boom! That quick. And as I sit here in the frozen tundra of Illinois, I look out the window, there's 5 inches of snow on the ground, it's 0 degrees, and the kids are in school. I have friends in Texas, they canceled school, it didn't even snow. So, very different up here. My blood still isn't thick like some of you. I know we have some students in Minnesota, Michigan. Your blood is probably even thicker than that, but I'm still not used to the cold. So, and I have a cold. So, enough about me. Week 1 went fantastic. Thank you so much for your discussion boards. Thank you for your encouragement to each other, for answering questions, for being gracious with each other. That's really almost as important to me as the content. So I really, really appreciated that. So week 2, we're actually going to be talking about how to do this thing called church and how do we do it in the public square. And so you're going to be reading Jacobson chapter 4, chapter 8. You're going to be reading an article by Tim Keller, Pursuing Justice in the Public Square. You're going to be watching a video by John Perkins. If you don't know who he is, this is such a short video, which go to YouTube and find longer sermons. He is an incredibly wise man. I've heard him preach multiple times. Really, really appreciate his heart. You're going to continue to work on assignment 1, which is a theology of shalom essay. So be very careful. Don't procrastinate. Don't. I know it's hard, but don't procrastinate. And that'll be next week. And now you have a assignment 2, Pursuing Justice Together. So you're going to write a 4-page paper. Hold on, I want to make sure that's right. 4-page paper? Yes, a 4-page essay that states a position that weighs the strengths and weaknesses of partnering with non-Christians to pursue justice and argue for an approach. So the questions are, who should partner? Partner with whom? To what degree? And how can we maintain our witness while partnering with others to increase effectiveness? So what I want you to do is really wrestle with this. Can your church partner with an organization that doesn't believe the gospel, or maybe even believe something antithetical to the gospel? Could you still partner with them on a project in the community? And I honestly don't think there's a right answer to that. I think you have to think through the nuances of that answer, and then you would have to, as an elder board at your church, you'd have to make that decision. But what I want you to do is I want you to make a choice. I want you to stake a claim. What could you do to partner with people in the public square? And then your discussion board, you're going to be talking in Jacobson, he talks about the creation of bike lanes. And you are going to be arguing whether your church should stand with that and be part of that, partner with that, be opposed to it, or abstain from it. And what kind of involvement would you have in creating bike lanes within your community? And that's actually, I think, on page 216. So that'll be your discussion board. And I do want to point something out that you may not have seen, but in this week, it actually says, after finishing your post, provide a reply to one of your peers. Not 2, just 1. So I follow the shell of these classes pretty to the book. So let's just do that. You only have to respond to 1. So that'll make this week a little bit easier. So with that said, there's a question in the Global Cafe. I've asked you what your classification is: freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, graduating senior. If you could just put your name and your classification as a response, that would really help me. I'm doing a prayer spreadsheet for you guys. And I would ask you to pray for Josiah in our class. His family got some news that rocked them. His father has cancer, and he's one of 10 siblings, and he's the oldest, so they're all looking to him, and he feels a lot of weight on his shoulder. I've walked this journey, obviously with a lot of people as a pastor, but I've also walked it with my mom and with my mother-in-law. So what I wanted to say, what I said to him and what I'll say to you, is what my mother-in-law told me. She, not long before she died, she sat me down and she said, Jefferson, I want you to remember something. If I get healed as a result of all the prayers that are going up, I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. I'm going to have a platform and just tell everybody about how good God is. And she said, but if I get healed, ultimately healed, I get to be with him. And then she looked at me and she said, never, ever forget, Jefferson, I win either way. So I said that to encourage Josiah. I want to say that to encourage all of us, because we all know somebody whose health is not good, or families that are going through things. We win either way. So I would ask you to pray for him, pray for his family as well. So the question of the week is, if you could eat lunch with anybody, just a Panera Bread or wherever, anybody in the world, anybody from history, who would it be? I'm a huge history nerd. I could think of 100 people I'd like to eat lunch with, but man, I don't know. I told the other class, C.S. Lewis, honestly, maybe it's just because of yesterday. Another one would be Martin Luther King. So I don't know. So who would you eat lunch with? Can't be Jesus. Okay, we're gonna eat lunch with him in a banquet. It'll last a long time. Okay, so don't. It's not Jesus. Somebody from history. Who would you have lunch with? All right. You could also pray for me. I'm still got a cold. It's driving me nuts. So, okay, that's it. I'm kind of feeling stopped up and weird, and maybe I rambled a little bit, but that's okay. So, if you have any questions or comments or prayer requests, please let me know. Onward and upwards.